Hello folks, I'm Alex, this is Alex Unabridged. Welcome back to the channel. Time for another little Trash Tales update. This is Trash Tales, The Road to Publication, episode 3. This will be quite a quick one, I think. I'm away on holiday at the moment, hence the different background, etc. Apologies for the traffic noise you might hear outside. The cottage we're in is on quite a busy main road. So I'll keep this short. And there'll be less editing. So if this is a bit rambly, I apologise. But yes, time for another update, because when last we spoke, I was just about to head into the big job of copy editing all of the stories for Trash Tales. That is now done. Bar one thing that I've just got the last couple of bits to tweak with when I hear back from an author. But other than that, it's all done. And that's been a fab experience, I have to say. I've loved doing the copy editing on this. And all of the authors that I've needed to query things with, to discuss things with for edits for their story, have all been absolutely wonderful and a joy to work with. So thank you very much to them. So the stories have been edited. They've also been through a first round of proofing. This has been to catch any kind of spelling, punctuation, errors, that kind of thing that's still left in that I've not seen, and also to flag any kind of potential issues that I might have missed in the copy edit. So it's been kind of slightly towards what we call a proof edit, so not just a straight proofread. And that's been of huge benefit to me because obviously I'm reading a lot of different stories and a lot of different styles, different voices, that kind of thing. There is bound to be things that I'm going to miss. And so that's been great for me to have somebody else picking up on anything that I might have missed. And that person who's been doing the proofreading and copy editing consultations and things like that, where I've been able to ask questions to somebody else, bounce things around with somebody. That lovely person is Lecton. From Reading from the Depths. Yes, Lecton got in touch with us before Christmas, in fact, before even the deadline for submissions had passed, and offered his assistance on the proofreading side of things. And I basically bit his hand off. And I've got to say, he's been brilliant. He has been an absolute boon to this project. He has picked up on those things that I've missed. And as I say, it's been great to have someone else to bounce kind of things off, that I'm unsure of, because I am still new to copy editing and things like that. So yes, Lecton has been doing the first round of proofing, which he has pretty much finished now. I've had all of the proofed files back. So I've started to typeset the stories. So making them look pretty in print, so typesetting or formatting, to make everything look pretty and consistent and professional in its printed form. So that's what I'm going to whip through today, basically, on what the process is for that. I'm not going to go into too many technical details, things like that. This is just an overview so you can see what the process looks like. So I'm using a software called Affinity Publisher. This is kind of an alternative to Adobe InDesign, if anybody's ever come across the Adobe version. I can't stand InDesign, so I've switched over to Publisher, and it's a lot nicer, a lot easier. So the basic gist of this process then is, first of all, I set up a template. So that's going to be the trim size of the book, so the size of the book basically, which is going to be the same as Garbology was, which is 8.5 by 5.5 inches. Then I set things like margins to make sure that the text isn't too close to the edge of the page when it's trimmed, and doesn't go too far into the center of the book, so when you open it, the margins are all set correctly, so it looks, and reads easily on the page. Then I go and set up all of the text styles that I need. So this is all of the typography information that I need. I'm a bit of a typography nerd, so I really enjoyed doing this. I've done all of this already. So this is things like, the main text that you're going to read, the stories, all of the body text is what we call it. Then we've got things like the titles of the stories and the biographies for the authors. They have a slightly different setup. Scene breaks, things like that. and then any kind of embellishments or particular formatting styles I like, so things like initial capitals or drop capitals. This is about setting the font sizing, the leading, so the line height, altering anything like the kerning or the tracking, so that's to do with the letters spacing, individual spacing of the letters. Things like paragraph spacing, the flow. So all the text styles get set up before I put any text in there, basically. Then I set up master pages in this master kind of document, this template. So that allows me to put in things like running headers and page numbers, things like that. And then I also create more master pages so that I've got some pages which you don't have running headers on. I'm not going to need running headers on a title page or on the first page of the story. But then I want just the page numbers, things like that. Then I've got a title page master as well, because that's got things like, that's got a little graphic on each title page, things like that. So I want to set that in so it's always in exactly the same spot on every single title page. So yeah, those graphics that are on there, I am currently working on those. They will be used to denote genre for each story. We've kind of decided to kind of have little kind of icons, like little library stickers you get, you know, that denote genre, that will be used in the contents and then on the actual title pages. So readers who want to dip into the anthology can have a look at the contents and see the genre, depending on what they're in the mood for. If they're in the mood for horror, they can easily find a horror story. And likewise, we are going to put in things like, kind of estimated reading time for each story based on an average reading speed. So again, you can see if you want a short horror story or a slightly longer science fiction story, or I've got 10 minutes for a bit of crime, you can find that in the beginning. So that's the sort of thing that I'm doing as I go through the typesetting as well. So once all of that is set and I've got that master document that is set for every single story, so then all I need to do is pull in each story individually into that master and save it as its own thing. All of the stories have been copy edited in Microsoft Word, and they've been coded as part of the copy editing process, so I can identify easily the different elements within the story, things like the title, the byline, the biography, subheadings, scene breaks, all that kind of stuff. So I know where all of those are. So then I can just go through and basically click the text style that I want in Publisher, and it converts everything for me. And it's quite a quick process. Once I've got this master document set up, pulling the stories in, it's a very quick process. Then when all of the stories are in there, and I'm about halfway through at the moment with the typesetting, I've got about half of the stories done. Then I will pull all of those stories into a book, and then that's where the program I can order them and it will do the page numbers automatically for me, which is great. And it will also then, I can also do things like generate a table of contents automatically with those page numbers in, and it'll update if I change things, stuff like that, when I need to edit things down the line a bit, because there's still going to be some mistakes, there are still going to be some issues that are going to need fixing. I also then will add in the things like the copyright information, the dedication, anything like a content warning that we might want to put in, and contents, things like that. And then also the back matter, which would be things like acknowledgements and credits for any of the images that I've used, anything like that for the icons, stuff like that. When all of that is done and it looks like a proper book, it's all set up, then it gets exported out to a PDF, which will then get sent to Lecton again, and also to Ollie as well, and I will proof it as well, and we will, all three of us, proof that document. And this will, again, be checking for any remaining spelling and punctuation errors, things like that. There might still be some left in there, you never know. But this will be mainly checking for things like layout and formatting errors. So when I've pulled stuff in, have I forgotten to do something? Have I clicked the wrong text style without meaning to? And so something is incorrectly formatted within a particular story. or has you know, some of the formatting got shifted where there's a paragraph break where there shouldn't be, or there isn't a paragraph break where there should be, all that kind of stuff. So it's about checking all of that through, and I will personally probably check that, what's called against copy, so I can see things like paragraph breaks. I know where they should be in the Word document, they're all set up, but I want to check against the copy to make sure that everything's remained the same. So once that goes out to Ollie and Lecton, they will then have a look at that, mark it up with their comments for any errors they find, and then send it back to me for final edits. I will then make those edits, update the typeset document, and hey presto, we have a file that is print ready, so we can get printed proofs made, so we can have a proof copy, physical copy of the book in our hands. So that's where we're up to for now. It's full steam ahead with the typesetting formatting process for the print version. Once that is done and edited, you know, after proofing, and hopefully is therefore then the finished product, certainly in terms of catching all of the spelling and punctuation errors, that kind of thing, then I will have to do the ebook formatting, which is slightly different because, of course, ebooks are quite different. You know, you're reading them on different devices. They flow differently. The way that they work is quite different. And so therefore the process of formatting them is a little different. So I will look at that a little bit in the next Trash Tales update. And as well, you know, in the next update, we'll have a little look potentially at what's the plan is for some publicity to make sure that people know that this fabulous book is on the horizon. And fingers crossed, we will have a cover design reveal for you as well. So I would imagine that update will probably come mid-June, I should think, early to mid-June. But that is it for today. I'm going to crack on with the formatting and get this book looking gorgeous. But thank you very much for watching, as always, folks. Do drop your questions and comments down below. I will be back with more bookish ramblings, probably when I'm back from my holiday in a week or so. So I do hope you'll join me then for a big old catch-up of what I've been reading over the last month or two. There's quite a lot to come. But from me, for now, that's ta-ra.